Welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors, and I'm your host. And tonight, I got another special guest, former professional wrestler, the Outpatient, also known as Jeremy Cotter.
Hey, nice to see you again, my friend.
You too. How are you?
Oh, fantastic,
Nice.
Enjoying the warm weather.
We were just having a great conversation before we started. We'll definitely get into that on air.
Absolutely.
I just want to ask you, do you have any decent, funny road stories?
Funny road stories?
Yeah.
Let me see. The one that always gets into my head and always gets brought up in conversation, it was myself with Trooper Gilmore at the time, Joel Davis, and Bull Montana. We were going to Ogdensburg, New York, the Golden Dome, 8+ hours into the middle of God only knows where, farmland. And I was driving the car, and I wasn't paying attention to behind the wheel. And they said, look up, and I had to slam on them brakes and get out the way because... And you just hear Bull going, da, 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 da. And they tortured him for hours, telling him, you got to take the Amtrak train station home. And it was like between that and Bonanza. And they were going, him and Trooper were going back and forth for hours. I thought Bull was going to reach over the back seat and just start choking him out.
That's all right. I love Bull.
Oh, yeah. Bull's funny.
Nice. Do you have any other ones? Anything?
Oh, God. I'm not really... my road stories weren't really as funny as.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
The Ogdensburg stuff was always good. Traveling with the midgets.
Right.
When we were doing the WWE, the enhancement talent work back in the early 90s.
Tiny the Terrible?
No, we're talking Little Louie, like the midget king.
Oh, yeah.
Back when they did the midget king versus the midget clowns.
Yeah.
It was me and Ray Roy, and I think we had a couple other guys, but the midgets were tucked into our car with us.
Right.
Because they had to go to the next town because they were doing the big angle between the king and his court versus Doink and his guys.
Right.
And the little guys had to travel with us, and it was
wild.
Oh man, I'll tell you, it was a lot
Little
of fun.
Louie, man, he wrestled for a long time. I remember him when I was young, I remember him in the mid-70s. I'm pretty sure I seen him on a WWF TV.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah. And who else was there? The Kings was Sleazy, Wheezy,
and Cheesy.
And Cheesy.
It was like versus Wink, Pink, and Dink or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That was.
It could have been that, yeah.
Wink, Dink, Pink, and Wink.
Wink, yeah.
That's hilarious just to look back on, isn't it?
Oh, I've been watching a lot of old footage through YouTube.
Yeah.
And
me too.
And TikTok that pops up on my feed. I'm addicted to watching that silly stuff during my breaks at work. But
do you watch I love Memphis wrestling. Almost every day I go at least to a Memphis show and just watch a little of it, at least a little, if not a whole show.
I've seen some Memphis. I've not gone back and watched a lot of the old World Class Championship wrestling with the Von Erichs. Lately, a lot of classic early 80s WWF stuff when I first got into watching the wrestling.
Right.
Like when Andre got his hair cut by Ken Patera and Big John Studd.
Yeah.
Or when Piper attacked Snuka in the Piper's Pit. Or when Savage crushed Steamboat's throat across the thing with the ring bell before WrestleMania 3.
And don't forget Ray Stevens pile driving Jimmy Snuka after Buddy Rogers took him from Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah.
I just watched that the other day.
I mean, there was a lot of great matches. Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik and the boot camp matches. And
Master Ray, God, that's one of the greatest matches of all.
Well, the early 80s.
Pat Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter, I'm thinking.
A little bit before when I first got into it. I got into it around 83, 84. As far as really becoming a fan. Earlier. So that's what drew me into professional wrestling was just like Hulk Hogan for a hot minute. And then when I got to see the bad guys like Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Bob Orton. And, even Dr. D. David Schultz and stuff like that.
They had some great heels back then. They really did. I mean, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy.
Studd. And when you went to an arena and you saw them, and you were a regular sized person, every wrestler, even Greg Valentine guys, were at least so they all walked by and they were larger than life.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, those guys are faster, but they're a lot on the smaller side. Right. So, the allure of larger than life, big people, it's very few and far between.
Yeah, it's pretty much
still
gone.
Braun Strowman.
But I mean, you're really only going to see that in TV wrestling more than the independents, because it just seems like there's just 130, 140 pound wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
And they flip, and there's not much storytelling.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that earlier a little bit.
It's a shame because that's what drew me to wrestle. That and the Freaks. I like the freaks.
But we didn't understand back when you weren't involved in the wrestling business and you were just a fan growing up. You didn't understand the storytelling aspect. But when you get into the business and you start to learn and you start to develop a character, it's great to learn all the moves and get really good. But then it's another whole thing to develop a character and tell a story and entice people to want to come in and see you more than once. You want them to come back more than once to see you, or else you haven't done your job.
Exactly.
You know, and that's to me. I couldn't do all the flip side. I couldn't do like your Frankensteiners or anything like that. But when I came out to the ring, I was a big dude, and you know, even like doing the violent looking stuff and even power moves and getting the oohs and the ahs. To me, that was more important. Right. You know, so.
No, but you were a big guy and you worked like a big guy. You know what I mean? You worked like a big guy.
I also went off the top rope for a finisher. So
and that was kind of that. You didn't see a lot of big guys doing that.
No, I mean I was I was 340, 350 doing the splash off the top rope. So.
Because I remember Gino used to go to the floor from the ring apron.
Oh, you did that cactus elbow,
Yeah, the cactus jack elbow. And
I took that a few times,
Dude, I've seen him nail a bunch of different people in Nashville at one of Jeff Costa's shows, and like he would. I'm sorry, but Gino was kind of smart, I think. Gino was smart because he would land more on the guy than the floor.
He was definitely a crash test dude, man. Martino was definitely.
My son loved him, man. Honestly, my son loved. I actually just talked with him the other day on our Facebook message. He asked me how my son was and stuff. Gino's an awesome guy. Miss him in wrestling, but happy for all the good things that's happened for him.
He threw that elbow.
Yeah.
When he jumped off the bleachers and nailed me with it one time at a show. Yeah, but I mean, it's solid, but it makes it, you know, when you hit each other, it you know, it doesn't, you don't have to, you know, there's nothing
he's not killing
about it. You know,
no, I hear you. That's awesome. What was the longest road trip you ever had? Was it the 8-hour one in New York?
Oh, no. Okay. The longest road trip that I currently took was when myself, Jason Rumble, and Trupa, we drove down to Tampa for
the NWA thing?
For the NWA, and we wrestled. And we wrestled down there. I think Troop mentioned it on his Hall of Fame speech that he did. When he got inducted, you know, congratulations to him on all of that kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
Definitely.
And it's like, that was a long trip, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that was a not so trip because on the way back, I drove 18 hours straight without stopping.
Whoa.
And we hit the border of Massachusetts and Connecticut. And I'm like, I can't do anymore. I'm seeing like 15 rows.
Right. So someone else took over the driver.
Troop finally woke up and took over for like the last hour.
I love Troop too. He's a great guy too.
One of my closest friends, yeah.
At that, might as well ask it now. Who is your closest friend in the business? I have it written down.
You know, Troopa and Ron Zombie.
Yeah.
You know, I love that guy too. You know, he was. I worked a lot with him.
Yeah.
You know, when he first came in doing the nurse zombie gimmick was my second for a few matches for Tony, and then when they created the New York Posse gimmick and started doing Ron Zombie and Jay Cobain along with Curtis Slam Dog. You know. And you know, we were lucky enough to be managed by Jim Cornette for a few shows too.
That's awesome, really cool, man. Too. Yeah. And how was that though? I mean, incredible, huh?
You know what? Yes, and you can't appreciate it as much when it's going on in the moment because everything was so fast. These shows are go. But you know, looking back on it now, knowing that we had a chance to do a little bit of work with Jim was awesome. Jim Cornette is my favorite. He's my favorite podcaster. I listen to him every day, at least an hour plus every day.
Yeah. Well, he's got his podcast, a 3 to 4 hour podcast. I love it.
When I go onto his channel and I break it in the segments. I love when he talks about the new business, especially with AEW, and he gives the truth.
Right. And everybody's got a name.
If anybody listens to it, they should hear the truth.
Yeah.
You know, he does. He gets a little bit mean sometimes.
Yeah,
which is cool,
he does.
But there's a lot of truth in what he's saying.
Absolutely, 100%. There's a lot of truth in that. Absolutely, there is.
And if they were doing everything the way that, you know, I mean, it's obviously new school versus old school.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool. You know, and I listen to him at least, you know, a half hour a day.
We can't say his first nickname for Kenny Omega on here. Something McFinger. Whatever,
yeah, exactly.
You know? Oh, that was funny. All right. So you told us who your favorite closest friends in the business. Who was your favorite travel buddy? Sam? Troop? Or?
Well, my favorite travel buddy?
Yeah.
I mean, I have close friends of mine who used to travel with me. And, and you know, my buddy Dave always would come with me, and help me out. He'd like bring my bag in for me.
Nice.
He
That's cool.
But he
wanted to be around.
And then Jimmy used him for years as security, like front of house security and stuff like that. So.
Jimmy's
just
a good dude.
because Dave would always come and he'd help put the chairs out.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be around the business.
Right, you want to be part of it. That's awesome.
I even got him backstage back in like 94, 95. He helped me when I was leaving the WWF show we were doing in Lowell, and he was like, he was like looking around, he's like seeing like Shawn Michaels and Ray.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Right.
But I had to get him out of there before.
Now, was that at the auditorium or the Songus Arena, the bigger
the
arena?
Lowell Memorial Auditorium. So we're
that
talking
was
like 94, 95. Yeah.
That's the best place, in my opinion, in the area to see wrestling. And I don't care what anybody says. Just that building, there's not a bad seat in the house in the Lowell Memorial Auditorium.
It was cool.
You know, and there's a reason why they've been going there for over 50 years. You know what I mean? Because it's a great building for wrestling. I mean, Ring of Honor was using it. TNA has used it.
I can tell you, my all-time favorite building to wrestle in was the IBEW Hall in Waltham, Massachusetts. That thing was
Killer ran there all the time.
Oh yes,
right? Yeah.
Killer ran there. I worked there for a bunch of different places.
Right.
I wrestled. It was me and the Smooth Operator against the Eliminators when the Eliminators were first starting out.
Wow.
I got to wrestle them there.
My favorite team.
And just like that building was so cool.
Right, it is.
I saw.
No doubt.
I went to see some ECW shows there, hang out with some people, but just in general, the acoustics, the way that it was set up was just so fun to work in. You know.
And they ran a lot of shows back in the day in that building. A lot of shows.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite place to eat on the road?
Oh dear Lord, whatever is available at the time, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. Obviously, you have your staples like your MacD's or stuff. But I try not to eat all that kind of crap. But unfortunately, it seems to be like where it is. If something quick. But I don't like to eat McDonald's before you get ready for a match, because sometimes you're getting yourself all fired up, and that McDonald's just doesn't want it. Takes a left-hand turn.
Go right through you.
Left-hand turn.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of Waffle Houses in New England.
A lot of times I'll wait till intermission and I'll slide out and I'll grab something at the concession stand. I'll take like a hot dog or.
Well, if I was there, man, you could get meatball subs, pretzels. I was the king of the concessions.
Oh yeah,
it was fun. All right, who has the greatest impact on your career?
My father.
Nice.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Awesome.
My father. If it wasn't for him, getting me to go to see a professional wrestling match, taking me when I was really young to the Acton Boxborough High School to seeing like Sergeant Slaughter and Chief Jay Strongbow and the Wild Samoan. It was like a house show. It was like one of those places. And then like allowing me to watch it on television when my mom was like, heck no. Yeah. And she was like, he was like, come on down. Or like when I was like trying to sneak downstairs to like watch a little bit of Mid-South at like 10 o'clock, and he's like, well, you're already up. You might as well come down and check and watch it.
Nice.
And we would watch wrestling together. We would watch Prime Time. We would watch TNT.
Oh, I love TNT.
He used to take me every month to the Boston Garden and the Worcester Central when they used to run all the shows. I got to see Macho Man beat Tito for the championship in Boston Garden. All the way, he and I drove in the car in the freaking snow to Worcester to see on closed circuit TV the big ones for WrestleMania 1 when they had it.
Oh, the first one.
At the Centrum. They had the first 4 they had on big screen TVs.
Right.
In locations, and my dad took me to see the first 4 of them. When I got older, he started backing away from it and all of that. But it wasn't for him. Like, he got me my first pair of boots. He's the one who found the number for Kowalski. So when I actually went to see it,
Yeah.
And there will never be another influence as far as in general as my dad. Now I have guys who influenced me as far as like watching them and idolizing some of their styles in the ring.
Right.
But as far as just me wanting to be involved or me being interested in the sport, it wasn't for my dad. None of this would ever have happened.
Because my dad wasn't a wrestling fan, nothing. So I love hearing that when someone, their dad takes
my first year, he drove passenger with me 4 nights a week to Killer Kowalski's. He'd come home from work, he'd change real quick, he'd jump in the car, and he would come with me to Malden Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I think he took Sundays off, but he would come at least 3 to 4 days a week. You know, he came to my shows for a long time.
Yeah.
He and my mom printed up some T-shirts. My mom hated every minute of it.
But she still helped though, huh?
What's that?
She still helped out though, like, printing out shirts and stuff.
She made a couple of shirts for people and stuff like that.
That's nice.
And she got my 8x10s done for me, my first black and white and stuff like that. But, she couldn't stand me being in she couldn't watch me. I am thankful that she did get to see me one last time before she passed away. It was 2006. I was wrestling Powerhouse Pro Wrestling. I was doing the main event. It was me and King Kong Bundy in Worcester at the National Guard Armory in Worcester, and she was actually well enough to be able to come and see the show. She was already like midway through all like the chemo and radiation and all that. But I was very thankful that she was actually able to be there for it, even though. Watching me do that, she was like, oh, but she came to it.
Right.
And
she did come. That's cool.
Unfortunately, we lost her less than a year later from there. But
sorry to hear that.
At least, but it was. I'm just so happy that she was able, that she actually wanted to come and see it one more time before.
That is nice. Happened. That really is nice, and it's a good memory for you too.
Really,
you know what I mean? Like you said, your last match, she was there. That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Definitely. All right. Is there anyone that you didn't get to work but wish you did?
Of course there is.
All right.
God, of course. Roddy Piper. I would have loved to. I would love to have gone in there and taken an ass kicking from him. I didn't get a chance to work Snook. I wish I had.
Right. And he worked a lot around here too, but he brought his own opponent most of the time, right? The Metal Maniac.
Exactly. If they ever worked up in the area when I was wrestling, I would have loved to have worked against the Midnight Express and I mean, but I know these guys. If you got in the ring with them, it would be a learning experience.
Oh, absolutely.
As well as getting a chance to be in there and wrestle, it would be a learning experience. There's a lot of guys that, as far as the independents, I got a chance to work with just about everybody that I wanted to.
Nice.
Thankfully, and I'm thankful that a lot of them, became friends and stuff like that over the years.
So, did you see John Studd at all, like around on the Indies? Because I could have sworn he did a very little, not a lot.
Here. I don't know if I shared this the last time we talked, but I'll bring it up again just in case. My first match ever was John Studd's last match ever.
I think we might have touched it, but that guy did though still.
But just to make a long story short, because I know that we think we touched on it. Because I wrestled the Smooth Operator for the very first time for Killer Kowalski. The main event was Big John Studd versus Honky Tonk Man on the show with Killer Kowalski as the referee.
Right.
And Studd was bringing around Ron Reese, who he was
training him.
Yep. And I got a chance to work with John a little bit at the school, and you got to work with Ron too. But yeah, Studd that was his last in-ring match because he passed from cancer shortly thereafter too.
And Ron Rice ended up being the Yeti, right? Wasn't he though? I'm pretty sure he was the Yeti in WCW with this move, which is like a hug.
Then he became the Super Ninja.
Yeah.
And then he did like the Ravens flock.
He was a Raven. Raven, I think everybody, they didn't have anything to do. They just said, go sit in the flock, And some of them really looked like they belonged, like Kidman. Remember, always just, you know what I mean? The camera would come on him and he'd but not overboard like this kid that I know lit in Ring of Honor for Special K. He would do this every second, like you're sniffing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
A little too much.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah. And it looked stupid, but Kidman, like I said, with the scratching, I thought he did just the right amount, He looked like a scumbag.
He was sitting right next to a guy named Sick Boy.
Yeah.
So why are you scratching and Sick Boy's not scratching?
Right. Sick Boy looked like he belonged in that flock too, though. They all did. Perry was in the flock for a little bit.
Perry was one of the coolest guys that I ever got a chance to be in the ring with. Strong as all heck, and even when he went to suplex me, I wouldn't even have to work with him. He would just bing, and I was awesome. And I was over 300 pounds.
Right.
And he'd be like, "Okay, you going?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm going." So, but I mean, getting a chance to train at the school with him
Yeah.
a lot. I only got a chance to work with him one time in the ring. It was when him and John, when we worked with them. And
Right.
I mean, as far as like at the school, I got a chance to work with Perry a lot. He was really cool to work with. He showed me a lot, so I appreciate it.
Awesome. And I loved, like I told you before, I loved the Eliminators. I really did. And Perry Satin was awesome. I got to meet him. Joe Bruin had him in at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He ended up going down to Belt Time Club,
Yep.
doing a seminar and stuff. And I got to sit there and talk to him for like 15 minutes. And he was so cool and gracious with his time, you know? He'd like, not once did he make me feel like I should get out of the seat and walk away. You know what I mean? He just engaged. And finally, I was there for like 15, 20 minutes. I get up and left.
I'm
you know?
happy for him. He overcame a lot of his personal demons, and he's
doing well now.
he's still there. You know,
And he saved the girl from being raped. And
That's
got
his story.
shot.
That's his story to
But
tell.
it's crazy,
And
though.
but
I heard
I'm just,
it. Yeah.
I'm just glad that he's, that he's still with everybody. You know,
Yeah.
he's doing
The
his thing.
adrenaline and all that. I heard that's like story to shoot into. Incredible story. And liking him so much, I was proud of him. Just watching the video as he's explaining how, we came to this girl's aid. That's amazing. All right. You were also a manager for, how long did you manage?
Oh, probably about a year and a half.
All right. And who did you manage?
I did a wrestling manager named Mr. Old School,
Okay.
and I did it as like a hybrid between like a Captain Lou Albano and like the wardrobe style, like kind of like Slick that had the hat and the
Okay.
glasses. It was something I threw together because I wanted to go out and work with guys who needed a mouthpiece, I think, and
Right.
Dan Badondi, the Bionic Bull. I love that kid. He's another one of my favorite guys in
Yeah.
the business. Great guy.
Yeah.
The Barbarians. It was I forget. One of them did one like a Vachon gimmick at one point, and the other kid does work up in New York.
Oh,
now.
Damien or Pierre Vachon?
I think Damien.
Yeah, I think it's
and he was
Damien.
teaming up with my friend Jason Davis, who does like the was doing a Barbarian gimmick,
Okay.
and they were the Barbarians, and I worked with them for a little bit. And Sheik, the Sheik, the kid.
The Sheik. I'm trying to remember who the Sheik was.
He worked for Trooper in the NWA. I mean,
I know who the Sheik is.
Yep.
He actually was working for him just like 2 years ago. Still, he's still working for him.
But I did some stuff with him out in the ring. It was just a chance to go out and interact with people, get
Right.
people fired up, get people all angry. You
Yep.
know, maybe because the guys I was working with weren't quite like engaging enough.
Right.
Or just to help them out a little.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, like if you can help somebody out like that, you go for it. Absolutely. I don't know. Let's play the name game.
Sure, we can do whatever you want to do, man. We got plenty of time.
Or we could talk wrestling. We could just talk wrestling.
I know we had briefly discussed earlier that you wanted to dive more into like the tag team, like
Yes.
the two different tag teams I
Yes.
did with Jimmy.
Then let's do that.
When we do that first, that'd
The
be
first
fantastic.
one, the Criminally Insane.
Oh, I loved that idea. I believe that was a brainchild of Jason Rumble and a couple other guys in the NWA New England
Yeah.
putting us together.
Right.
And it was weird at first because I didn't know if it was going to work. I mean, I know because, but the characters clicked
Right.
together. Me being the crazy inmate, him being the guard.
Yep.
And it took off. And more so, it took off when we were wrestling at arenas or even all the places we went to, like all the clubs and whatnot.
Right.
And the fans just ate it up.
Yeah.
Because we go out there and I'm just wild as heck. So
Yeah.
I bust through the curtain. I'm
Right.
doing my
And
thing.
right away, you guys had eyes on you because of what you're doing.
I hit the ring. He chased because as soon as I hit curtain, it's go time.
Right.
And after a while, he started picking up on my energy, and he started getting crazier with his stuff.
Nice.
And you could see times when he was doing the troop gimmick at the point, and you get the wild eyes going on. He
Right.
got that nice thing. He started choking people out with it. It was so funny, But we did so well that they had to break us up because they didn't have anything else to do with the team.
Really, huh?
Yeah, that it was one of those things
You
where
guys were together for how many years?
couple years.
Yeah, 3? About 3, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'd say about 2 or 3. That was the team that we took down to Tampa. That's the
Right,
team that
right.
we wrestled a lot of places with.
Now,
so.
was Jason the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champ at the time? Or
Believe so.
Or did he win the belt? Something? I
believe
know
so.
he was 3 times. I do know that. He was a 3-time
I
NWA
believe
Junior Heavyweight.
that's the case. I think definitely it might have been.
And he took on Rocky Reynolds. I'm pretty sure on that one.
And then you get the morphing after that to when we went to Powerhouse Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And we became Slaughterhouse.
Right.
With the crazy chainsaw and myself.
Yeah.
And I changed my look again because I got out of the prison singlet, went into the ripped up scrubs,
Right.
cut my hair off.
Yeah.
And I started carrying around the baseball bat wrapped in chain, and he had the chainsaw with the green hair and the mask. And that was phenomenal because we scared the hell out of people everywhere we went.
Yeah. One time Jimmy was wrestling as him. It was somewhere, I might have been at the original Bell Time School. And I brought my grandson in. And I could see Jimmy way over there, and I'm like, come on, Jai, let's go. And he sees him. And he's like 2 or 3 years old. He ain't moving.
Nope.
So I had my girl take him out, and I went over to say, he goes, no, tell him to come here. I said, dude, he's seen you from a distance, and he wouldn't take a step. I can't bring him over to you. Yeah. You'll scare the crap out of the kid. But it was funny.
Yeah, we gelled well together. You know, we held their belts, the NWW belts like 3 times, but it was just like the character, the 2 of them working together was fantastic.
Yeah,
you know, and then we started doing different things, and he was worrying more about the promotions, and I was starting to wind down at that point because we're talking like 2009, 2010.
Right.
You know, and then when I retired in 2011, it was just like, you know what? I came back and did 1 match with him. He and I went out and we destroyed a couple of guys. I apologize. I don't remember what their names were at the moment, but I'm sure Jimmy could definitely tell you, but I don't recall at the time. Right. But that was a swan song, you know?
I'd like to get Jimmy on before he moves to Florida. I really would.
He's running some shows now.
I gotta go.
He's running shows again, so now he's still in the area. Time to go see him
too. I hear you.
You know, so you might be able to squeeze that in, you know?
Yeah, I've known Jimmy for so long, man. I've met everybody all around the same time. Slick, Jimmy, Jason, you, just a lot of people, man. 2003, 2004 is when I really started going around to a lot of indie shows and just started meeting people. And then I started doing the catering, and then I started selling merchandise and stuff to the concessions, and now I'm just the host of a show, and that's it.
But you know what? You do a great job with the show. I've seen a lot of the different episodes, you know, and you've definitely done you've done a lot of great work here, my friend. You know, it's an honor to come on here, not once, but to come back on with you today and get a chance to do this again. And, you know, the wrestling business has changed so much.
Between the 2 of us, we've seen it change multiple times. I mean, we've been fans for so long.
Not just from one aspect, but from multiple aspects.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
completely changed.
When I was a child, the wrestlers were giant.
Yep.
And everybody was an over-the-top character. And now you watch it, and a lot of them, they're like average-sized people. But it's fine. But that's what today's generation is. Right. High-flying, spectacular moves, you know, and crazy chain wrestling and things of that nature. Yep. Sometimes they try to put the violence in there a little bit too much. They're trying to redo the lightning in the bottle ECW kind of thing, but you know, it's cool too. You know
who runs good shows on Thursday nights is the Beyond Wrestling or the Wrestling Open. I don't know which is which. I think they're both the same under the same umbrella.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But they're running Worcester every Thursday night. And some Saturdays.
Really?
And they're freaking packing the place, man. Seriously. Hundreds of people are going to their shows. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I already sent my buddy a note. I'm going next Thursday. Thursday. Next Thursday.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to see that places are doing it. There's a lot of promotions that are running a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
And then there's some other ones. There's another company, and I don't know if it's Focus or Fight Life or something, but they're running somebody's running Wednesday nights too. You know?
Whenever you can get on a show.
Exactly. If you can get the people to come out, run. Yeah. I mean, wrestling for years was a 7-night-a-week anyways.
Oh, more so now than ever before. Right. Wait, you got Raw Monday nights.
Oh, yeah, on TV, yes.
Yeah, NXT Tuesday nights, AEW on Wednesday nights. I'm not sure what the hell's on Thursday nights. Maybe TNA or something like that. I don't know.
Friday night IWTV, you can watch Beyond Wrestling.
Friday nights you got SmackDown and Collision.
Yep. No, Saturday's Collision.
Oh,
Friday is
Rampage.
Rampage, yep.
And Saturday night's Collision.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, they're
Almost
going
every night of the week.
Every night of the week.
True.
It's good, but hopefully it's not going to oversaturate.
Right.
Too.
Well, the thing about most of the wrestlers nowadays is like if I would say to my mother that's a pro wrestler, the small, she'd say no, it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, but if I showed her like someone like you would say, is that a pro wrestler? My mother would say yes, that's a pro, because that's like you said when we were kids, they were all larger than life. Even the smaller guys were larger than life.
Macho Man was 245.
Yeah.
Between 230 and 245.
Yeah. And was he 6'1"?
Not even. Probably like 5'10", 5'11".
Wow.
But if you look at like nowadays, a lot of the guys aren't huge.
No, they're not. They're not. There are some that are. There's a few that are. There's a guy in an independent scene right now. There's a guy Cruel. I want to say he was
Mads Kruger?
No, that I know you're talking about. This is a different guy, Cruel, Krule.
Okay.
He was somebody else. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it is, but he put on the mask and it took off, man. And he's like a game changer.
Is it like a green like?
No, but that's the guy. I know you're talking about.
MLW.
That's not him.
I'll be honest.
This guy is just his name is Cruel, Krule.
I do check out MLW when it's on
they got
YouTube and stuff.
They got a local kid doing that right now, Brett Ryan Gosling, BRG. He's working for MLW.
I know.
He's the MLW party boy.
Rich Palladino does announcing for them once in a while too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
You know?
Now Rich is he did some MMA. You know,
he's an amazing announcer. You know,
I love Rich and I love him at wrestling events. But I mean, if he can make more money doing other things, I would much rather see him do that because I want him to be successful.
Like I said, he's one of the best.
He is one of the best. Absolutely.
I've ever seen.
Yep. No doubt.
When I was a kid, Howard Finkel was the ring announcer that you all when you heard that name, when you heard the voice, whether you were in Worcester or you were in Boston. I mean, they had a couple of different local guys, but on the big shows, when you heard Howard Finkel, you knew that it was going to go
just
down.
Listen to when Hulk Hogan won the title. You know what I mean? Oh, it's incredible. Like, gives me chills right now, just thinking of it. Because Howard Finkel was the man. He was the first guy that Vince signed to a contract. Yeah. He was with the company for over 40-something years.
It is true.
If not the best, one of the best. I think he's the best. I do. I really do. I think the Fink was the best. There was Lillian Garcia was very good at
Gary
it.
Michael Capetta.
Very good at it.
And NWA.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of great ring announcers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But for locally, it's Rich. With some other guy, Adam Salzer, he does it. I just shot myself in the foot because now can't think of anybody else. Seriously.
No, that's cool.
But it was nice to see Rich get that doing something other than wrestling.
Absolutely.
He deserves it. He's put so much into wrestling just by being at all these events all the time.
But he put in the groundwork. He's done the work.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And I give a lot of guys credit, like Bo Douglas.
Yeah.
And his all work. And
Give him back.
And he's with the Bell, the Bell Time Club, and I appreciate all the work that they've done to help keep a lot of Kowalski's teachings alive.
That's right.
I know a lot of the Kowalski guys have gone off and done their own thing. Like I think Mike Hollow has.
Mike Hollow, he's up in Concord with Scott Reed at the Elite Pro Wrestling Academy. Yep.
I've seen stuff on Facebook and whatnot, and I'm happy for them that they're keeping.
And then you got the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Chase in the New England Pro Wrestling Academy that I have to go to court for on August 13th.
Oh, geez.
I got subpoenaed into court.
Oh, boy.
So, should be fun.
That'll be another fun wrestling story.
Yeah, huh? I just wish I could be in the room when this lawyer says, hey, how do you know Leo Connors?
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be fun. No, but yeah, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Chase runs a good school down there. He has a great company in Chaotic. I can't deny that. Even if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to be an idiot and
They've been around for a long time.
Exactly.
What can
They
you
run
say?
a good product. They got a good product.
They've been around for a long time.
Exactly. And I haven't been to a chaotic show in a very long time. And I'm not going to lie, I missed it. I miss them, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, we can do some name associations and stuff if we want to do that.
All right,
too.
let's do that. How about Knuckles Nelson? Because I listened to, we didn't view all these names. I made sure we didn't touch on any of these names I
Really?
wrote down. Yeah. Because we only played the name game for like 10 minutes.
You know, I respect Knuckles. He was very close with Tony, and,
Yeah.
and he got a lot of pushes. Like I got a chance to work with him a few times in the ring, and I respected his in-ring work. You know, he was quite a good worker. You know,
Yeah.
definitely.
And he'll be the first to say that he wasn't the easiest guy to get along with sometimes back in the day, and he's grown from it.
That's what I've heard. You know, I mean, did we have a little? I don't know how it ever did, but something. I don't dwell on the negatives, to be honest with you, Leo.
Right.
And a lot of the people that I have some hurt feelings towards, I've tried to push all that aside because
That's good.
something. Life is too short, and
Yep.
I'm trying. It's kind of crazy between coming on with you, and I've met with a couple of other people who want me to do other shows.
Nice.
My wrestling side of my life has started to come back in on me when I didn't even expect the thing to come back in on me.
That's good.
And because I've been concentrating on other things. I think I've told you about that with all of that stuff. So it's just weird how the other side came knocking on the door going, hey, don't forget, I'm still here. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm having to bring back all the memories from everything that I've done.
Well, the next name you brought him up as the smooth operator, Trey, and he only likes his peanut butter smooth.
Oh my God. You know something? We were linked together for a long time. I loved working with Trey. Trey is one of my favorite people to be in the ring with.
Yeah.
We had a crazy chemistry, him and I, because I had the crazy thing going. He was a street smart guy. He would outsmart me during the match. I'd be like, what? Look where? And he'd hit me with a drop kick.
Yeah.
But, we had comedy, but we had action. Yeah. And but when I had to work with him, it was like go for like 20, 25 minutes. Right. By the time I get back, I will feel like a dead deer with my tongue hanging on the floor going,
right.
Oh my God, what are we doing? And then Walter would be like, oh, next month you guys are going to go in Bellingham. Then you're going to go over here.
I did notice on the wrestling cage match, you guys wrestled a lot.
Yeah, we did.
A lot.
And then for a brief time, for a different promotion, we were part of the same faction. It was like one of those like extreme style ones. And I ended up being like a part of the faction and helping him in a match, and it was weird. We tagged up against the Eliminators right in the middle of our feud.
Amazing,
right in the middle of our feud, Walter's like, you know what? They need opponents. You guys are going to work together and face them. I was like, okay, this should be interesting.
Yeah.
But everything worked, and I learned a lot wrestling Trey, and I love the guy for it, and I appreciate all that he showed me.
That's awesome. That is awesome. How about Vertebraker?
I knew him.
Oh, okay.
I was on a lot of shows with him. Good guy. Never got a chance to actually touch in the ring because he was working with the smaller guys.
Yeah.
I was working with other guys. We were supposed to work once or twice, and it got scrapped for other things. But he was a cool dude.
How about his mother, Sandy Starr?
Didn't really know her.
No, didn't know her, really.
I probably, I hate to say it, I probably did, but I don't.
Right. No, I hear you. That's okay. I got plenty of names.
Too many chair shots.
How about this guy you wrestled quite a bit? Some in tag team matches, Vance Nevada. In Canada. You tag teamed against him about 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Yeah. And and then you also wrestled Caveman. It was him and Caveman Broda. Remember the Caveman?
I hate to say that I can't remember these people.
Wow, yeah, no, wow. There was at least 3 times you wrestled these guys. All right, how about this? We'll go with different. How about, do you remember wrestling Dr. Luther?
Dr. Luther.
In Canada.
No,
he's the guy that's working for AEW right now. Do you remember? He's
I know
for Tony Storm.
I know who Luther is, but
yeah.
Honestly, the Canada days, I don't remember them.
All right. Well, that's all right. I got plenty of local names too.
That's cool.
How about I know you wrestled Cue Ball.
Yeah, yes, I did.
Yeah, and the one with hair. Cue Ball.
Yes, yeah, I remember.
Most people though, you would think Cue Ball would be,
Oh no. I wrestled him. I actually won the NWW heavyweight championship from him down in Blackstone.
He was good.
He was a good worker.
He really was. He was a really good worker.
That was the one time I get to work with him, and he was really cool. I was actually managed by Damien Darkside at that point.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah, Lowell kid. I'm from Lowell originally.
Bob McCarthy,
yeah,
man.
Bob McCarthy. Yep.
Good dude, you know.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I learned a little bit of my managerial style from when he was.
No, Bob's got some talent, man. There's no doubt. And can he talk?
He's good.
He's incredible. He is. He's a good manager.
I'm sure you'd probably get one question off in an interview with Bob because he'd talk the whole time.
Right. I just wish, you know what I mean? I wish he was around more.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he was going to start working for this kid, Ty Mitchell. And he stopped running. I don't know why he's not running, but I could have swore Bob was going to start working for him. So, how about Apocalypse?
Oh, Mike. Good
Stiff
dude.
Mike. He is a good
I
dude.
wrestled him both as Stiff Mike and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I liked working him as APOC more. Though,
Yeah.
You know, just because monster versus monster.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
He was stiff, but he could take the shots too. You know,
Of course, yeah.
You weren't afraid to lay in
Right.
each other, but people believed that we were killing each other because
yeah.
it would sound. You make
Yeah.
sound, you know. And you know, I hate to say it, I never stomped my feet. I was never a foot stomper.
Right.
If you hit safely, you can make the noise.
You can make the noise. Absolutely,
You know?
you can.
I'm not afraid of getting hit.
Right. And neither is Stiff Mike.
No, not at all. Because he knows he's going to be
Yeah.
giving you receipts all
Yep.
day long.
Yep.
But no, he was a good dude.
He's a good worker. I think underappreciated in New England. I do.
I think so too.
I really
you know,
do.
Like you said, you know, he was a bit gruff at times, and I think that kind of
Yeah.
hindered him as far as like getting the notoriety that he deserved.
But he's another one, though. He's another guy that said it right here. That, you know, he's not the same guy anymore. No. You know what I mean? And
you get older, you understand,
exactly.
you know.
But he used to, I'll be honest, man, he used to scare me. When I was honest, when I first started coming around, Stiff Mike scared the shit out of me.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, I would, you know what I mean? I would just go stand somewhere else. I'm not going to lie. How about Tony Atlas? I know you're on the cage match. I know you only wrestled him once, but
Twice.
you had to. Twice. You had
twice.
to have been on many shows with them, though, right?
I've been on several shows
Yeah.
that Tony was at, but I wrestled him my very first day that I worked for Tony Rumble. No, I'm sorry, second day.
Yeah.
I wrestled him twice in one day. I wrestled him at the at Good Times in Somerville.
Yep.
And then we shot up to one of the high schools. I think we like to say Lowell up in that area.
Okay.
But we did a double shot that day. And
Might have
Tony,
been, I think he ran Lawrence High, not Lowell. Yeah.
whatever it was, but I know it was with.
Yeah.
He didn't know me from a hole in the wall. The first match was only like 3 minutes long.
Right.
And Rumble's like, "What's going on?" And Tony was like, "Oh, don't worry, tonight will be better." And then we went and we had like a 25-minute match.
Nice.
Later on that night. You know, that was a great match. That was actually the first time that first day that Nurse Zombie, or Ron Zombie's first gimmick for Tony.
Nice.
He was my second outside of the ring, and Tony was fun to work with. And the second time I worked with him,
He's a really
Jimmy.
nice guy. Like, honestly, I've been around him at a bunch of shows where I've done concessions and stuff, and he's just a nice guy, man. If he sees you and he walks up and he makes eye contact, how you doing? I'm Tony.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Tony. You know, and then you'd hear him, his laugh and everything. But one of the nicest freaking guys, man.
Absolutely.
You know, just like I heard about King Kong Bundy, and I wasn't around that early enough to be around. I would have loved to have met King Kong Bundy.
Again, I got to work with him twice, and Bundy was one of my heroes growing up in wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, and he was fun.
That's awesome. You got to meet him and work him and all that. It's pretty awesome. It really is. How about Mr. TA?
Oh, shit.
Terry
yeah.
Allen.
I worked a bunch of tag team matches when he teamed up with Dan Badandi against
Yes.
me and Troopa.
Yes.
We had a few matches. Yeah. No, Terry was cool. You know, he had a good look for him. You know, and
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. And I'll say this. I don't really care. He really should retire because he's not that good anymore. I just try to give him a hard time just because I went to the show and we booed him and stuff. So it's kind of a running gag.
You know, anytime you're willing to lace them up and go out there and try to do anything,
That's true.
I give you mad credit.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I'm just teasing about Mr. T.
Oh, yeah.
How about Dave Wilcox?
don't remember.
No.
Dave.
Okay. How about Kahuku?
Oh, Sam
Yeah, Sam and Tony.
Makua. Yeah.
Yeah, Makua and
Yeah, I wrestled. I
Kahoko.
get to work with them in tag teams.
They
quite
were a
bit.
good team too, huh?
Sam, great guy.
I
you
love,
know.
yeah. Both of them guys are great guys.
Oh.
I had them both on the show.
Well, you
man.
asked me about one, not the
Yeah,
other.
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
We'll move them together, which is fine.
Yeah.
No, they both got great guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really cool.
Yep. Sam's a great father. Got a couple little boys. All right. How about Freight Train?
Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
I love Dan. Dan was another great guy to work with. I wrestled him a bunch for Walter and a couple of other promotions. I got a chance to work with him in. He was a lot of fun to work with. Another one of those guys where you pair a couple of big guys up
Right.
that can move a little bit, and it gets the crowd going. And
Yep.
to me, getting a chance to work with somebody who's same size but different style, and then when you collide in the ring with a simple shoulder tackle, bam! Everybody's like, you get people in the front row go ooh as soon as they hit because
Right.
it's because they're so big.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then when you do it again, you just build up.
I haven't seen Freight Train Dan in 20 years.
Me neither.
How about do you remember Moondog Maximus?
Oh, of course I do. John
Yeah.
Lowe. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was.
We every time I saw him, we would always talk backstage. I kind of gave him some of the ideas towards the Moondog. I mean, I think most of it was his idea, but I tried to help him out a little bit because he, I know he was floundering as the painter John Lowe for a long time.
Right,
when he was
right.
looking but when he went into that Moondog character, that
It
was
worked.
where it worked for him.
It did.
He did a lot of great work. I know
Yeah.
him and Dan did a good job as a team for a long time,
Yep.
working for different promotions and stuff like that.
There was another guy that did that type of gimmick in New Jersey. Moondog Wenzel. I don't know if you ever came across him. He
No.
was another good worker, man. Really good worker. All right, how about Bull Moose Calhoun?
I met him, but I don't.
Okay.
I didn't have any interactions.
I know you wrestled this guy. I don't know if you'd remember him, but Craig Trace.
Greg Trace.
Yeah, he's a Manchester kid.
I don't quite remember.
Yeah, you wrestled him once. I saw it on the cage match. But all right, so the guys that used to work around here in Nashua, right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with those guys, right? Like Sonny Goodspeed.
Yep.
All right, so Sonny.
I'm familiar with his work.
That's it,
But
though?
we never touched.
Okay, how about Maverick Wild?
Never got a chance to work with him, but I'm very familiar with his work too. Yeah, I give all these guys credit in the world. A couple of guys. The kid Zach, I forget what Zach's last name was, but he teamed up with Chris Bartola. You know Chris Bartola?
Chris
Captain
Bartola. Yeah,
Charisma.
yeah.
He did the superhero gimmick.
Yeah, I remember Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris. Great kid, great guy. I talk to him once in a while through Facebook.
Right.
Those guys made me and Jimmy look like $10 million. We did a show one night, and I was bigger than both of them put together.
Right.
But they went out and they bumped their asses up. They sold for us. Chris did the bleeding gimmick. I hung him over the top rope.
Chris could
but
sell, man, like
he
crazy.
He was great.
He was.
He went from being a referee
Yeah.
to becoming a worker. And
Yeah, good
a
hands.
lot of guys weren't going to give him credit for it
Yeah.
because but I mean, I give them credit. They went out there and they busted their asses for us, and I appreciate them forever for that.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Zach Mason was the other.
Zach
kid.
Mason. Yep. How about Vic Steamboat?
You know what? I got to have one match with Vic Steamboat, Wallingford, Connecticut, working for Tony.
Yeah.
It was at like a car dealership, but they had this, but it was packed full of people.
Right.
And I worked with Vic, and it was he was so fluid in the ring.
He was really good, man.
Talk about a guy who
really
was
good.
so far under the radar that he
Yeah.
never got a chance to come up.
Right.
I was very thankful because after the match, he went to Tony and told Tony that I was a hell of a hand, and he enjoyed
Nice.
working with me. So that was really cool of him to do that. But
That's awesome.
I was lucky enough that my character was wild enough that I didn't have to go crazy, but I could just make people, just bring out emotions from people.
Right.
So
Okay. How about do you remember Leatherface?
Leatherface.
Yeah.
There've been so many of them. I don't know which
Yeah.
ones.
Never mind. Don't. How about Tony Roy?
Antoine Roy, Tony
Yes.
Roy. You know what? I never got a chance to wrestle Tony in a show, but I got a chance to work with him a lot at the school.
Oh, okay.
Tony,
All right.
Tony worked with me a lot and helped me out a lot in the ring.
Nice.
Mad respect for Tony Roy.
Good guy.
Oh God, yeah. One of the nicest guys I ever met.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely.
he was really cool.
How about his tag team partner, Roosh? Rush? Roosh?
I only met him a
Just
few
from
times.
being with
but
Tony?
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Okay. How about Jimmy Sharp?
Don't recall.
Don't recall.
Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Well, let's talk about Paulie Gilmore, the one you didn't tag team with. You didn't tag.
Oh, geez, the men of business, Paulie Gilmore. No, I didn't. But for a couple of nights from Powerhouse,
Yeah.
I actually was a member of the MOB. I had the T-shirt on. I was part of the
Jimmy
group.
Jack
with Jimmy
Cash
Jack
was
Cash.
part of that
Big
too, right?
Business was in there.
Yeah.
Mike Brunson, Big Mike Brunson. What a great guy he is too. You know, I'm gonna throw all those guys out there. You know, Jimmy Cash, great guy to work with.
Yep.
You know, always very nice to me. Big Mike Brunson, great guy. You know, very very cool. You know, I consider him really really nice guy.
Right.
And Big Business, the Giant Pharaoh.
Oh man, Giant
You know,
Pharaoh.
he was talk about a character over the top, larger than life.
Yeah.
But was always very nice to me, very cool to me. You know,
That's cool. I've heard that about him. Seriously, he's really nice.
I was very lucky that I never really had any heat with anybody, so I got along with pretty much everybody. So
Right.
it was good like that.
Nice. So you watch the wrestling on TV now.
Yeah.
Let me talk about some of the guys that are on TV from around
You
here.
can talk about whatever you like. That's cool.
Like for instance, Ivar,
Oh,
Handsome
Todd.
Johnny, Todd.
Yeah. So, when we were both working for NWA New England,
Yeah.
and he was wrestling as Todd, Handsome
Yep.
Johnny.
Yeah, Handsome
he
Johnny,
was
most likely, yeah.
Handsome Johnny. I put him over for the NWA New England Television Championship.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
And even then, you knew he was going to be. Didn't know he was going to morph into a Viking, mind you.
Right,
but
right.
He became tremendous. I like Todd. Todd's a great guy. You know?
Great worker. And I people are probably sick of it, but I'll say it to you because you haven't heard me say it. Unless the guy would have quit, all the injuries that guy had to battle
hurt again?
and go through, right? But you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
A lot of guys would have just quit.
Oh,
But he kept going, man, and he made it. It's
yep.
incredible.
He's battling again with something right now
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. But what I liked though was this last time when Ray Rowe got hurt, his partner.
Yeah.
They kept using Todd every week. Now he's hurt, but they were using him every week, and usually tag team guys, when one guy goes, they usually both go away for a little
yeah,
bit.
and he talked about that too a little bit.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah, no, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you got Kofi, who's been there forever, who only really was around the Indies for less than a year, or around a year. That's about it.
Oh yeah,
How about George Carroll?
Carol.
George, he works for NXT behind the scenes.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was running NEWA back in 2004, 2003 down in Burlington. No, not Burlington. Quincy and Braintree.
Oh wow.
But he's worked his way up. He started working
I think Carmelo Hayes is a local.
Carmelo
too.
Hayes is local too. Yes, I was going to get to him too. But yeah, so his first two matches on when he got drafted to SmackDown was against Cody Rhodes. Then the next week he took on Randy Orton. And how can you not really learn from those guys? You know what I mean? Like,
There's a lot of great guys. And like I don't follow a lot of the newer stuff. I try to, but
right.
Walter Gunther, probably the best in-ring talent right now.
Incredible.
I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Because he reminds me of a young Killer Kowalski, like
Right.
going in there and
Yeah.
just beating people down.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need
Killer
that.
would have loved Gunther.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
He would have been trying to get him to use them on shows through WWF because
Right.
Walter always had that connection, so he would
Yeah,
bring
he
in
did.
guys from WWF all the time.
Yep.
I think
So that's why Mike Hollow still has that connection, even though Pat Patterson has passed away. But Mike Hollow still has a direct. Probably Chase probably does too. You know what I mean? With all the people that have gone from them to the WWE. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt, man.
And there's so many places to train nowadays too. There's freaking 15 places to go train in New England alone.
The business has exploded all over again. And, I can appreciate it, but I'm glad I'm not wrestling in the ring anymore, my friend, and, being on the twilight end of it and just enjoying,
Right.
just seeing younger guys out there. There's a lot of guys I see out there that I saw at arenas when they were kids.
Right.
Or, not even just arenas, but, the
Yeah.
house, the local shows. And, I still have some people who come, like I work at a hospital, and the other day, some young guy, about 18 years old, came up to me. He goes, "Hey, my dad took me to see you when I was a kid." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? I cannot believe this has happened."
Awesome.
But it does happen sometimes. And
Yeah.
I do appreciate all of that, And like I said earlier, this wrestling thing has come back full circle
Right.
to where it is before. And I know this fall I'm going to be my first time. I'm actually going to be going to the IWF reunion.
Oh, nice!
That they have
Really?
every
Oh,
year.
I would have loved to.
I was
something
asked to
like
come
that.
down.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was asked to come down
That's
this
awesome.
year, and
Yeah, Brittany Brown, all them. Yeah, that's fantastic.
She was an amazing performer.
I'd love to get her on the show. Hopefully someday I will.
She was so cool. I appreciated every moment that I got a chance to spend in the squared circle. Was there some frustrations here or there? Of course there was.
Right.
I can be very thankful to tell you that I never had a major injury. I didn't.
That's good.
And like I said, whatever little ill will that I used to have for people before, I just pushed that away, man.
That's right.
When you step away from the business and you look at it from a whole, you're happy to see that it's still going.
Right.
And I'm hoping it continues on because I loved it when I was a kid.
Yep.
I got to be in the business and I got to enjoy wrestling, in front of crowds for 20 years.
Yep.
I got to help out behind the scenes for an additional 8 years or so. And then, now I'm just an observer and stuff like that. But, I just love it all. And now I'm enjoying getting a chance to come on shows like your great show here and, and getting a chance to talk about everything in the wrestling business.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, Rod, there's some really good young guys out there right now, like Alec Price, Dustin Waller, Kylon King, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes. I mean, that's some really good young talent out there right now.
The NXT is loaded full of young talent too. They're going to be pushing through that glass ceiling.
No doubt. I'd like Trick Williams. I like him a lot. I kind of wished him and Carmelo would have stayed together until they did the breakup on SmackDown.
They wanted Trick to do more.
Yeah. But he's good. Trick is pretty damn good. I like him.
Absolutely.
Josh Briggs is doing good too. He's a local guy.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I saw that. Yeah.
And real quick, what did you think about Jordan Grace coming to the WWE?
I like the inter promotional stuff.
Me too.
I hope that they continue with it. I hope that it crosses over and comes back and forth because it was kind of a screw of a finish. So I'm kind of hoping that they do the back and forth a little bit.
I think they're definitely going to do more like maybe someone's going to come and take on Trick.
That creepy chick that went and grabbed the title and tried to take off with it.
Oh, yeah.
I could see her popping up on TNA and trying to steal the belt. And I can see them doing a whole program based off of that,
Yeah. But Jordan Grace is great, man. She
haven't
can
seen the end
work.
of her, and Ethan Page is now part of WWE. So
he's a good worker too. He looks good too. He looks real good. He slimmed down a little bit.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, thanks for coming on again,
much,
man. We'll do this again another time.
No problem.
Guys, we're out. Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.